Oh, hey.
Oh, hey Annie, how are you?
Good. What is all this?
All right. I've been reading a lot of books about inventions.
Yeah.
And so I have invented my own machine. I call it the Kitten Creator. All right. So
Really?
it's actually more simple than you would have initially thought.
Okay.
However, I've had some hiccups. Last week, I made a Chihuahua. And
Instead of a kitten?
That's instead of a kitten. So I just turned
Oh.
this guy up over here, and I think I've got all the kinks worked out.
Okay.
All right, you want to see what'll happen?
Yeah, I do, actually.
All right, here we go. Come on. Oh,
Oh my word! Are you seeing this?
it's working. Catch it.
Come!
Okay,
Oh my word, guys!
let's see what'll. Oh, here it is.
Oh my word!
Another one.
No way!
Yes.
Hi! Oh my word! No
Here it is,
way!
here it is.
No way!
Told you. I told you.
Word!
I told you.
Hey, come, baby.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna break the kitten creator.
Oh, yep. No, we need that. All right. Whoa!
No way!
It worked.
You did!
Got another.
That is so amazing! Come.
That
come,
is so
come.
cool.
Don't jump, don't jump.
Don't want to overheat this thing. How many is that?
4?
Has it been 4?
I think so.
All right.
Okay,
All right. I really like orange.
Me too. They are so cute.
Orange cats are super cute. So let's. hopefully it didn't overheat the machine.
Oh my word.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
All right.
Came with a vengeance there.
Yes. You are so cute. I just want to eat you.
Okay. 5 cats?
We got 5 cats.
That's lots.
Yeah.
What do you do with 5 kittens now?
What do we do with 5 kittens? I don't know.
Hey everyone, my name is Annie.
And my name is Peter, and welcome to the This and That Show.
This whole month, we will be talking about wisdom. Wisdom is finding out what you should do and doing it. So after this whole kitten creator debacle, I have a question for you, Peter, and for the Deer Run kids. What is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Now you might be wondering, is there a difference? Or maybe you might be asking, would we even know the difference?
Well, you learn things all the time, right?
Yeah.
Almost everywhere you go or anything that you do, you get a chance to learn something new, whether it's at school, whether it's at home browsing the internet with your parents or reading books. I don't think we could ever discover all the things that there is to learn in the world.
No, definitely not.
But then you also have wisdom. Wisdom is more than just what you know. It's knowing how to live.
Oh.
So let's try this. I'll put an idea up on the screen, and I want you Deer Run kids to decide if this is knowledge or wisdom. Facts you know, or information that impacts the choices you make and how you live. So first up.
Oh, multiplication tables. What do you think, Deer Run kids? I'm gonna go with knowledge. Definitely
Knowledge. Yes,
Yeah.
it is
Facts.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Next up. Spending money versus saving money. What do you think?
This has got to be wisdom.
I think so too.
Yes.
Because you got to know how to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up. Helping a friend with a science problem. Oh, this is tricky because you have to know whether to help them or not, but it is facts. So I'm going with knowledge.
That's right. Knowledge is right. All right. Helping a friend with a family problem. Oh, man.
That's tricky.
Yeah. This one's got to be wisdom.
It's true. Wow, some of those were tricky. It seems like knowledge and wisdom go hand in hand. Like you can't have wisdom without knowledge, and knowledge is wasted if you don't somehow know how to put it into practice, right? So as we learned, even learning your multiplication facts can help you with shopping for groceries or figuring out if you have enough supplies to finish a project that you might be working on.
Or wisdom could have helped me know that I would have way too many kittens.
Is there such thing as way too many kittens?
Wisdom would say yes. Yes, there is.
Yeah, it's true. Now, let's be honest, right? It might seem like you spend most of your time learning knowledge and not always knowledge you even really care about that much. But even if you do care about it, what should we do with all that knowledge?
Is it possible to know a lot of things and not be wise in how you live?
This is actually a question people have been asking for thousands of years, and even back when people were writing the first books of the Bible. Thankfully, these writers learned all sorts of wisdom while they trusted God and followed Jesus. On top of that, God inspired them to write it down so that we could learn about some wisdom today. So let's check it out.
Today, we're heading into the Gospel of Luke, which is one of the 4 collections of stories about Jesus' life that we have in the New Testament of the Bible. Now, these stories share about the birth of Jesus, and they also tell us about what happened when he was older. What we don't have are stories and moments from most of his childhood and teenage years. It's not that Jesus wasn't a kid, it's just that there weren't many stories written down for us to read. But we do have one story when Jesus was 12 years old, and it's a good one. Let's read it from Luke chapter 2.
Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. When Jesus was 12 years old, they went up to the feast as usual. After the feast was over, his parents left to go back home. The boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were not aware of it. Whoa. Sounds like we might have to do some explaining here. So in Jesus' day, for hundreds of years before, the Jewish people would travel to Jerusalem, the capital city of Israel, for their 3 major holiday festivals.
Cool. This is called a pilgrimage. Now, don't picture a vacation where you climb into a minivan and drive off to grandma's house for a family reunion. That's fun and all, but this was the even bigger deal. This was the family reunion of family reunions where the whole family, parents, grandparents, cousins, second cousins, and distant aunts and uncles would all walk together, sometimes for days. So picture the big group of people from Jesus' family traveling to the festival.
And when they arrived, other giant families would be there. The place would be packed. And this particular festival focused on helping God's people remember how God rescued them from Egypt. Once the festival was over, they would all turn around and travel across those miles back to their hometown.
This time around, though, there was a bit of a problem. What was it? That's right. They forgot Jesus. Wait, what? How could this happen?
That's right. Let's look here in Luke 2:44. They thought he was somewhere in their group. So they traveled on for one day and they began to look for him among relatives and friends. They did not find him. So they went back to Jerusalem to look for him.
Okay, I know at this point it would be easy for us to give Mary and Joseph a hard time. But hold on just a moment. Remember, these were large families and they were traveling together, walking, and it would have been easy to think Jesus was just hanging out with other family members at another part of the group. And once they figured it out though, they made a beeline and rushed back to the city. Okay, so let's keep reading.
Yes, verse 46. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courtyard. He was sitting with the teachers. He was listening to them and asking them questions. 3 days? Can you believe that? 3 days is a long time to be away from your mom and dad. But Jesus seemed to know he was safe because it turned out that Jesus was hanging out at the temple, which was the center of the city where people would pray, offer sacrifices, and learn about God from rabbis and teachers. And that's exactly where Mary and Joseph found him. Jesus was hanging out with the teachers and asking them questions.
All right, question and answer. We do it all the time. But in Jesus' day and in the schools where they learned, questions often led to discussion of like answers and more questions. And that very likely is what was happening that day.
Since Jesus, a 12-year-old, was holding his own with the religious leaders of the day, how do you think people might have responded? Let's find out. We're going to look in Luke chapter 2, verse 47. Everyone who heard him was amazed at how much he understood. They were also amazed at his answers.
Now, I wish we knew the exact topic that day in that temple, but what I can tell you is that the most frequent and the most important conversations they had in Jesus' day were about the Torah, what we call the first 5 books in the Old Testament in the Bible. That means more than likely Jesus would have been discussing topics related to God's word with the teachers of that day. And those teachers were amazed at his understanding. Jesus demonstrated that he took God's word seriously.
That's right. And once Mary and Joseph found Jesus, they had a bit of a discussion where Jesus helped Mary understand that God wanted him to be at the temple. Jesus knew this was a part of the plan God had for his life on earth. But eventually, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus headed back home. And at the end of the passage, Luke includes this cool verse about Jesus growing up. He wrote in Luke 2:52, Jesus became wiser and stronger. He also became more and more pleasing to God and to people. This is such a cool verse because it gives us a glimpse of how Jesus grew. It doesn't say Jesus grew smarter or gained more knowledge. What word did Luke use instead? Wiser. Jesus grew in wisdom. He grew in his relationship with God, and he grew his relationship with other people.
As Jesus grew, as a human, he was willing to search for wisdom, to ask and seek answers to the right kind of questions so that he could grow in his wisdom. The same can be true for us. Earlier, we talked about knowledge in discussing how it relates to wisdom. Knowledge is often about what happens in our head, what we know.
On the other hand, wisdom involves how we take what we know and live it out. So in other words, wisdom is finding out what you should do and doing it. It's all about how we live. And as we learn to trust God and live with wisdom, Jesus gives us the model for how to do that.
Exactly. So dear Run Kids, we have a present for you. At the back of the gym is our deep dive treasure chests. And just like Jesus was knowing and discussing God's word to gain wisdom, we can do that too.
Yes, by writing down wisdom that you find in God's word, you can put it in your treasure chest and make sure you take that treasure chest and some cue cards at the back of the gym. At home with your families, you can write down some of your favorite wise verses and have them in your treasure chest and put it in your room, living room, kitchen. And when you need some wisdom, you can go back to your treasure chest and look at your verses.
Yeah, and don't just make this a one-time thing. You can keep adding verses all year long.
That's right. So, all right, friends, I hope you had a great time today, and we'll see you again next time on the
This and That Show.